I've spent more than 20 years developing my financial mindset and learning from some of the greatest financial players on the planet. As a result, I went from growing up broke to being the principal trader of a private fund. Now, I've retired from the fund business and I'm managing my own money. As a financial trader, investor and entrepreneur, I'm taking everything that I've learned and I'm applying it to achieve one thing: set my family up with 100 years of indestructible generational wealth and income. But how will I do it? How will I teach my children the same mindset to keep and grow our family's wealth? And how can you do the exact same thing? This podcast is here to give you the answers. Join me on this journey and follow along as I share how I apply the mindset, the principles and the strategies that will enable you to set your family up with its very own financial legacy. My name is Patrick Stockhausen and welcome to Financial Legacy Building Radio. Right, it's me, Patrick Stockhausen. In today's session, what I want to talk about is something that is about trading, but it's not. What is it, Patrick, you want to talk about? Today, I want to talk about leading and lagging indicators. Now, I'm going to talk to you about it in the form of trading first, but I'm only using that as a bridge to get to what is a leading and lagging indicator in you, to let you know if you're going to achieve your financial destiny. Does that make sense? So with me today is Anthony McCarthy from Alpha Kairos Asset Management. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, very good. All the better for hearing your voice. Anthony here is the voice of institutional investing, whereas I'm just the voice of the people, right? So I've gone from the Anthony world to the people world. I'm not saying Anthony doesn't look after people because he looks after people's money, but I'm just saying.
I was about to say, that makes me sound like the villain. I'm the bad guy. But yeah.
No, I'm the man of the people. Right. So, Anthony, what is a leading indicator to you?
All right. A leading indicator that I believe a retail investor who's listening to this, or really any investor listening to this, not one that not one that's purchased. I would say first and foremost, a leading indicator of whether you can make money in the markets is a long-term trend. That's, for me, the first indicator of, hey, is price over a long-term, not minutes, not hours, not even days, but over the next months, is the market trending? Is it either going up or down? That's the first indicator I think I use, and I'm sure you use, and anybody should use when looking at the market to determine
price
trade coming up. Yep, price.
Price is a leading indicator.
Yep.
Absolutely. So let's just give this some structure, so just in case somebody's just sitting there thinking, what do you talk about leading indicator? A leading indicator is something that precedes the end result that people are trying to get. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm having a look here. Let me just, if I go to Wikipedia, the guru of information out there, leading indicators are usually, but not always, change before the economy as a whole changes. They are therefore useful as a short-term predictor of the economy. Stock market returns are a leading indicator. The stock market usually begins to decline before the economy. So something happens before something else is a leading indicator to let you know. So what else would you say was a leading indicator, Anthony?
I would say, again, for a retail trend trader, would be I like movement averages, namely because it returns to the first point. It's a great way of determining what is the overarching trend, and they're one of the few indicators, especially if you use weekly or monthly or quarterly, that the markets directly are very cognizant of. They're not sold to you. There's not part of some unique selling price, so they can't be taken advantage of. I like those movement indicators as a way, and really the main way is they determine price or price action, and they determine what is the market doing over the long term.
Right. Whereas you would find other people would say a moving average is a lagging indicator because it requires the price to move. So if you've got 20 days of activity on a 20-day moving average, it's going to require that the price to lead first, and then that moving average then moves as a response to the price. So
I'm sorry, to those people, I would say that's great. Yeah, it's a lagging indicator to the economy, But I'm not interested really in what the economy is doing. I'm interested in, is this a leading indicator telling me that I'm going to make money? And
Right.
is this a
Okay.
leading indicator to
Right.
tell me that I can take a trade? So I think for people like, oh, we need to look at like, oh, we're going to follow the economy. I would say as a trader, that's great for institutional guys, for Goldman Sachs, if I'm talking to a nation about working on their debt.
Hmm.
However, for you, for a trader, for us, for anybody listening to this, is it a leading indicator to determine can you make trades that make money? Yes, I like it that way. For me, that's a leading indicator for me.
Right. And for those people that are listening, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, what? Just Patrick, tell me what a lagging indicator is. I'm going to the guru of information called Wikipedia right now. And it says a lagging indicator are indicators that usually change after the economy or something, the whole has changed, right? Typically, they lag behind the preceding thing. Does that make sense, everyone? So something moves first, and then this thing lags. So, let's have a think about this then. What else is a good leading indicator of within financial trading?
Within a financial trading, a
Mm-hmm.
good leading indicator that tells me that a good trade is about to, and not necessarily a winning trade, but a good expectancy trade is likely to happen. One of the leading indicators of you need to pay attention because you're about to make money or have a chance to make a lot of money is volatility. As a swing trader, I like volatility. That tells me that the market isn't really sure what's going on, which means there's good risk reward. So as a retail trader, if I'm looking at that, I think that's a leading indicator of an opportunity. So that's one thing I look for is like, hey, is there volatility? Has there been a pullback? Has there been a change in this short-term situation that I can take advantage of?
Right. Okay. What's a lagging indicator of that volatility then, would you say?
A lagging indicator of that volatility?
Mm,
Um, geez,
I know.
probably,
I know I've put you on the spot here.
yeah, like a lagging indicator of volatility,
Yeah.
your account balance.
Yeah. Good. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna precede after. No, not precede. That's gonna follow rather. Right.
That's going to
Okay.
follow. Yep.
That's gonna follow afterwards. Right. Okay. Excellent. 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 Right. So we have leading indicators within the financial trading, and we have lagging indicators within financial trading. Now, I was thinking about this, and then I wrote this down. And then, because I don't know what I was listening to. I think I was listening to a podcast or someone was talking about leading and lagging indicators. And then I thought, wait a minute. There's trading, and then there's the trader. Right? There's trading, and then there's a trader. And it got me thinking, well, what's a leading indicator of the trader? And what's a lagging indicator? And I thought, wait a minute, that's even better. We've got the leading indicator, the lagging indicator, and the ultimate destiny that you're going to end up with, right? So let's imagine somebody says, I want to have $10 million, right, in my trading account, or $10 million worth of assets, right? Or I want to earn $1 million of passive income per year. And I thought, oh, you know what would be interesting? If I phone up my friend Anthony and discuss what is a leading indicator to let you know whether you're going to actually get that? And what's a lagging indicator to let you know if you're going to actually get that? So what's going to precede and what's going to lag? And then I came up with a little conclusion, which I'm going to come to at the end, right? So in terms of leading and lagging, Anthony, what would you say was a leading indicator if a trader who's listening to this right now, if they were ever going to get that final destiny, financial destiny?
I would say this, a leading indicator of if somebody walked into my door and says, I want you to hire me as a trader, this is really fundamentally what I'm looking for. The couple leading indicators of whether this person, really in any business, but whether this person will make a lot of money as a trader. I would say, what is their self-development history? How well do they respond to it? Because if they want to make $10 million and right now they're poor or they're just middle class or whatever, they're going to have to change. Don't let anybody tell you that it's the world's fault that you're not wealthy, because at that point you will never be wealthy. You will never change anything. The reason you don't have $10 million is because of what you're doing right now, which means we're going to have to develop.
Say that again. Say that again. Preach to them, brother. Say that again.
The reason you do not have $10 million is because of the things you're doing right now and the things you've done in the past. And we're going to have to fix that. We're not, no, fix it is probably the wrong term. We're going to have to change your behaviors. So, and self development is basically this message of I'm not content with where I am now. I do not like my behaviors in whatever situation it is. How well can I change that? How well can I grow? How well can I establish new habits, new processes, new thought processes, whatever? That's what you need. That's the first leading indicator of whether somebody will succeed as a trader. Because no one who just walks in the street, literally no one, is going to immediately be great as a trader. You're going to have to work and change and grow and be different. And really, that's anything that involves making a lot of money, because you're going to have to change your behaviors. Because if the way you are today was enough to have $10 million, you'd have $10 million.
You'd have it.
Yes.
You would have
again,
it today, absolutely.
that's in any business, any pursuit, or really any human endeavor. Is if you were enough right now, you'd already have it. So and how you respond to that basic message is one of the leading indicators. If you hear that, me saying, no, you're probably going to have to change, it's not the world's fault, it's yours, you kind of have a victim mentality. You do not like agency in your life. It scares you to have agency in your life. And if that frightens you, then that's a leading indicator of trading's not going to be for you. You're not interested in growth. You're interested in protection. Nothing wrong with that. You're not a weak person. You're not bad, whatever. It's just you're probably not trading. Don't get into it with that mindset. That would be my first leading indicator.
Right. Okay. Right. And I was thinking about this. I was thinking, Patrick, what's a leading indicator to let you know if someone's ever going to acquire that massive sum of money, be it trading or even if they try to acquire it outside of trading? You know what I think one is, Anthony?
What's that?
Who are your friends? Who are you hanging out with? Because that there, who you hang out with is who you become. And I remember hearing Tony Robbins saying, you lie down with dogs, you come up with fleas, right? And then I heard Dan Pena say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, right? Show me your friends. I'll show me the top 5 people you hang out with, and I'll show you what your financial destiny is going to be. So who you're hanging out with will have a huge impact. If you're hanging out with the average of your 5 people and their daily communication is, oh, I hate my job, I hate my friends, I hate my life, I hate my children, I hate my career, I hate where I grew up, and that's all that's going in your head. You remember Dan Pena saying, how do you think that's going to affect your short-term, long-term, and mid-term goals? Right? Because that's what's going into your mind. Then I remember hearing somebody talk about Facebook and how Facebook has given people this village mindset. And let me tell you what that means. It says once upon a time when people lived in small villages, the only information they knew was that of the people in the village. So the general intelligence was limited by the scope of how far they could travel. Then once travel happened and people are going from to the next village, and then cars and everything, railways, everything made it expand, so did people's intelligence. And so what happened, their perceptions and their world views began to change. But what Facebook is doing is bringing people, what's happening is they've seen on their Facebook, they've seen their feed, and they think that is the world. That is the world's information. So it's kind of bringing people back to this little small global village mindset. And so they tend this, and I meet so many people that all they hang out with, technically what that's going into their mind is what they read on Facebook. And somebody said something to me the other day of saying, oh, did you know, I don't really want to say it because it's slightly political, but they said, did you know X, Y, and Z said this thing, and that's true? And I said, where did you get that from? And they said, it's on Facebook. And I thought, you got what? And that means it's true. Yes, if it wasn't true, it wouldn't be on there. That opinion wouldn't be on there. So who you're hanging out with is a huge indication of your behaviors that you are going to have, which will then shape whether or not you actually achieve that financial destiny of the 10 million or the 1 million or the passive income, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, very much.
Right. Anthony, what would you say was another leading indicator if someone's going to become incredibly financially successful?
It actually kind of points to just exactly what you said. It's like, how well, I would ask, tell me about the world. Tell me the story that you tell yourself. Is it fair? Is it unfair? Is it hostile? Is it going to hurt you? Give me just ask about their narrative of the world. If they believe that it is, I am beset by problems, it's the problems of X, Y, and Z people. The world is unfair. Everybody's eating everybody. I'm not saying that there's not injustice in the world. I'm just saying if you believe that the world is inherently unjust and irrandom, and that you have no power. Guess what? Your brain will do everything it can to convince yourself that that's true.
Mm.
And so for me, it was like, what's your inner story? What's your narrative? What are you doing here? Why are you doing it? If they
Mm.
have a strong, compelling narrative, I am here because I want to create a business because it will do X, Y, and Z positive things in the world. I want this money because it will do X, Y, and Z good things, not just for me, but for my family, those I love, and the causes I care about. If they have that message, that's a leading indicator of success.
Yeah.
If
The stories which you tell yourself
the
shape
stories they tell
your life.
themselves. If,
Yeah.
hey, I just do it because the world sucks and I'm going to try to stick it to the man and I want to tell my boss to f off. Like
Yeah.
if you want to do that, you're not going to work. It's
Right.
never going to work
Yeah.
because if you have that kind of hateful, I'm doing this to take my fair share, that mentality will fall apart whenever you run into adversity.
Right.
Stories and narrative that you tell yourself matter so much.
Mm.
And so that would be my first, just sitting around interviewing, not even interviewing, I'd be talking to a trader and just
Mm.
like, hey, tell me about the world, tell me about people, tell me about your people. And part of that is very much, who are the people you hang around with? What is the messages that you like? What are the messages that everybody around you kind of invest in? So that would be one of my leading indicators of whether a trader can succeed.
Right. Okay. I'm going to say, oh, from the world of John DeMartini, someone's values is a leading indicator whether you can achieve your financial destiny. And if you have never heard me say this, well, if you've never heard DeMartini talk about this, let me explain this to you. Right? Two people, there's me and my wife when we go shopping, okay? And what we class as most important to each other is not the same. Most arguments in the world are generally because people have different values. Now, when I say values, I don't mean honesty, truth, and all those sorts of things, those social values. I'm on about what's truly most important to you as a human being, right? So let's imagine you take a man and a woman, okay? And the gentleman's highest values are, Patrick, don't be so stereotypical when you say this. No, I'm going to have to be. Okay. The gentleman's highest, just so you get it, the gentleman's highest values are business, commerce, which are the same thing, learning, exercise, and networking, right? That's his highest values, okay? Now, someone's going to probably listen to this thinking, that can't be someone's highest values. It is. That's what some people's highest values are. And then someone's probably listening to this going, but where's God? Why isn't God at the top of that? Because some people have God really high at their values. Some people have it in the middle. Some people have it really low. And some people don't have it at all on their value system. And then that's probably quite a shock to some people. Listen, some people love exercising. Some people think it's okay. Some people don't really into it. And some people aren't into it at all. And they have a hard time adjusting to this. Listen to me. Some people value things and some people don't. You have to accept that. That's how it is. Now, let's imagine this gentleman's wife's highest values are the children, education, the children's entertainment, the house, the gym, exercise, and shopping for the home, right? For home furnishings. Now, you take these two people, you send them in the supermarket, not supermarket, the shopping mall, right? And they are going to, what they see, the decisions that they make and the actions that they take will be completely different. The gentleman is going to see business, commerce. He's going to see what he values. He will make decisions what he values. He'll make actions based on what he values. The woman is going to see, oh, did you see those curtains? No, what curtains? Did you see those children's books? No, I didn't see that. And someone's going to say, oh, he's just ignorant. No, he's got a different value system, so he's going to see something completely different in the world. The same way the woman is going to see something completely different in the world. Both of them are going to make completely different decisions, and both are going to make completely different actions. My wife's values are completely different to mine. And I say thank God, because if my wife's values were the exact same as mine, my children would starve, Anthony. They would starve, right? Because you're like, don't you love your kids? Of course I love my kids. But I know from my values what's the highest value. My highest value is developing myself in relationship to the universal principles of building wealth, right? That is not my wife's highest value. My wife's highest value is about the children. Right? So we all have different values. So once you know what someone's values are, if they do not have a value on saving, a real value, right? Not that they want the result. This is like they're driven to do this, internal driven, right? They don't have a real value on this, and it's not about the result, the real value on this, then it's never going to happen for them. So someone's values, and in the same way I could say someone's identity, which are both linked together, their values and who they see themselves as, are massive indications of whether you will ever in your lifetime achieve that financial destiny that you desire. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes, very much.
So what is a lagging indicator of if someone's going to achieve it, particularly through trading?
Their account. and by that I mean like years later.
Yeah.
If you equate success to immediate financial gains in anything, but especially in trade, well, really in any endeavor. I mean, if you go ask a new entrepreneur, hey, do you expect to be profitable in 4 years? They'll say no. Not really. I mean, the most successful businesses take a long time. So I would say a lagging indicator is the wealth, the money, the gains, the success. That's something that happens well down the line. So I think that's probably one of the lagging indicators that I think needs to be drilled into people is like, you need to get good at trading and then you'll be good at money.
Right.
Even within a trading system, you're going to see dry periods of well over 2, 4, 6 months, whatever, especially as a trend trader, as the trend try to sorts itself out.
Yeah.
There's going to be periods of and that's really your job, is kind of to tread water, to make some, lose some, and wait for those big moments of just massive growth and be there to capture them. So I would say
it's interesting to say that, it's interesting you say that, because right now in the markets, people don't realize if you're trying to capture all the biggest moves in the markets, you're going to have, and I was teaching this the other day, you're going to have, here's where you're going to win, here's where you're going to lose, here's when you're not going to be in the market, here's when you're going to start to lose again, and then here's when you're going to win again. And if you know this up front, okay, then you're going to win the game. You're going to win the game. But yet, you know what somebody would say to me? And actually somebody did say this the other day. Well, if you know you're going to lose there, why don't you just not trade there? And I thought, oh my gosh, so you think it's possible to trade without having a losing trade? Yeah, therefore, I know what your beliefs are. Therefore, I know what your trading account looks like. Therefore, I know exactly what your net results are.
I would actually say another leading indicator, kind of leading on to this, is, and I'm great. If anybody's listening to this, if I'm going to hire them down the road, congratulations, you now have an insight to one of the questions I'm going to ask you at my interview. One of the first things I'm going to ask a trader to hire is this: tell me the last time you were wrong, and I don't mean like tell me the last time you were wrong, and tell me the long-term consequences and what you learned from it. Ooh. And if they say I was never wrong, or if they give me some kind of small, insignificant choice, I'm not hiring that person. Because I want somebody who is completely okay with saying, "Yep, that didn't work. I'm good. I learned from it. Moving on."
I like that.
Because you need that. You need how well can you, if you have a massive value on being right, on being correct at everything. First off, I really don't want to work with you, because that kind of sharing an office with that kind of person is often never very fun. Mm-hmm. However, if you desperately need to be able to look at the market, say, I was wrong. I was so wrong. How can I change that? What did I do wrong? What did I do? Me. And people think, well, that's because, oh, well, if I have a winning system, what does that matter? Because the market changes. What worked 30 years ago does not work today, and probably might not work in the future. Like your system will have to evolve and change as technology and situations and everything else changes. So the ability to adapt, to be wrong, to start from a position of, well, that didn't work. Let's not be incriminating. Let's not beat ourselves up. Let's figure out a way to fix that, or not fix it, to learn from it. And that's I think that's one of the key leading indicators of how often can that person just look in the mirror and say, oh, that was wrong, because it's going to be a trial and error. And you're going to need that to be a profitable trader.
Right. I love that. A lagging indicator, Patrick. Oh, I got one. Okay. So understand this does not precede. Some people will say, but this is going to tell you whether you're going to achieve the financial destiny. And I'm going to say, no. You're going to do this as a result of all the things that we said from the leading indicators, all the things about your friends, the stories, your values, your identity, your psychology. All of this is going to determine this lagging indicator. And this lagging indicator is this: getting in the trades early, getting in the trade late, not moving your stock when you're supposed to, not following your rules. All those things are just lagging indications of your psychology.
Yep.
Right? All those things. And then that will determine whether you achieve that financial destiny. So the point is this, right? We've got leading indicators, we've got lagging indicators, and the financial destiny. And I sat there and I was thinking about this, Anthony, and I said, you know what? That's just the leading indicator is the B. The lagging indicator is the stuff that you do.
Can I give one more lagging indicator?
Yes, go for it. Put it in there.
When I'd say one more lagging indicator is your homework. What's your business plan look like?
Ooh.
How you're back testing. Back testing is a huge lagging indicator of success.
Yeah.
How often do you do your homework? What's your risk profile look like? What's your R ratio? How do you look at that? How do you tell me what your narrative view of your trading rules are? Do you have your rules written out? How often do you adjust those? If you can answer those questions, that's a lagging indicator of success.
Yeah.
Because you have approached the idea of trading systematically, rationally. You're constantly thinking. If you can't answer those questions, or if you haven't done it, and I'm not saying you have to have some spreadsheet that's massive and overwhelming, but I'm just saying, like, have you given those have you given them concepts thought? That is a powerful lagging indicator of success in the markets, because that'll work eventually. So
in order to win this game, in order to have that financial destiny, you're going to be thinking, these are the lagging indicators. And then what most people are doing, Anthony, I see, they're looking at these lagging indicators and trying to address those things. And that's not what it is. It's about thinking, here's the leading indicators. I need to change the leading indicators. They need to change the story they have in their mind. They need to have new friends and associates, the beliefs, their values, their identity, their psychology, their self-development. That stuff is the leading indicator whether you will do the things so that you get the results that you truly desire.
I will say this, like, if they truly want to improve their financial situation or create their own trading business or do really any kind of business, this is what they'll discover. If you are focusing on the leading indicators, all the lagging indicators will just happen. A lot of the lagging indicators will do it because if you are truly, are you trying to make money? Are you trying to learn and grow and change and self-develop? If you're trying to work on your psychology and work on the people around you. If you do those things, all the lagging indicators we just mentioned will happen because it's just part of what you do. If you hang around 5 people who are looking to improve themselves, you will work on your savings, you will work on your business plan because they are. And it will seem weird to you not to. And it was like, oh, if it's hard for you, if it's challenging, if it's just frightening, then you need to get back to those leading indicators because there's something not aligned. There's something that's holding you back because that stuff's not work at a certain point. That stuff, it just happens when you are focusing on the leading indicators. That stuff is just part of what you do. So that would be, for me, it was like if you talk about back testing and you get terrified or just, I don't want to do that. I would say you need to go back and really readdress why you want to trade and how you want to trade and why, what values got you here. Because if this stuff is agonizing, then you're going to lose money because you're not there. You're not aligned yet. You haven't, please do not put money in the market yet because it's going to be taken from you. So that would be my view on that.
Nice. You know what? I think we're going to leave it there. I have to run off because my wife's gone off. And she said, if I don't put those kids back to bed before she gets home, I'm in trouble. So with that said, because that will be a lagging indicator if I'm in trouble, the leading indicator was something else. Now, so with that said, all right, I'm going to say thank you, Anthony, for that. Another brilliant world-class discussion with Anthony from the institution and Patrick, the man of the people. I'm talking about leading, lagging, and your financial destiny. Till the next time, it's bye-bye from me, Patrick. And it's bye-bye
from Anthony. Take care.
Take care, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.
Now, if you just listened to this session, heard something that resonated with you, and you're serious about setting you and your family up with a financial legacy, if that's you, then there are 2 things that we recommend you do right now. first, head over to www.takingstock.biz and subscribe to any of the free training programs to continue your financial journey. The second thing we recommend is that you share this broadcast with any like-minded financial traders and entrepreneurs, so that we build a community of like-minded people that support each other to achieve their financial goals. Get interested in your financial future, because you'll be spending the rest of your life there. Start taking action by taking stock today.